Sports page with the Orlando Sentinel and FM 96.9 The Game's Mike the Bulldog Bianchi.
On JRR.
Bulldog Sports page by Kaufman and Lynn Injury Attorneys. Kaufman's going to be in a little bit later this morning, by the way. Special Tuesday edition of Law and Disorder Taco Bob.
Yes, right around 7:40.
We got repeat champion, dog.
Yeah, Coach Dan Hurley's UConn Huskies, man, they delivered the latest dominating performance in their march through the NCAA tournament. They just absolutely smothered Purdue last night, 75-60. They've become the first team since the 2007 Florida Gators to capture back-to-back national championships. UConn's known for their offense and being precise and efficient. It's almost an unguardable offense, but they won last night with defense. They limited, Purdue is the second best 3-point shooting team in the country. They only got 7 3-point shots off last night, only made one of them. UConn happily allowed Zach Edey, the 7'4" player of the year for Purdue, to just go off. 37 points for Zach Edey, 25 shot attempts. They were just allowing Zach Edey to do whatever he wanted. They were guarding him one-on-one. They would not allow them to get off a 3-point shot last night.
Dog,
it was
they were neck and neck. They were neck and neck though for that first, the first quarter, almost half.
Yeah,
whatever.
but
I'm the one that watched it, fellas.
Purdue. Can I finish my sentence here? Purdue did not make a 3-pointer until like 2 minutes left in the first half. And Dan Hurley called a timeout, and that was the last 3-point shot that they made.
But they were tied for a while, dude. They were tied for a while, dog. I'm telling you. It was neck and neck. And then they just
I know
cleared
they
out.
were, but UConn just smothered them. In the second half.
Yeah.
So, anyway, numbers don't lie. UConn, just going by the numbers. Now, obviously, there's been some very special back-to-back champions. The Gators of 2006, 2007, the 1991-92 Duke team, John Wooden's dynasty, of course, in the 60s and 70s at UCLA. But when you look at the numbers here, UConn has won 12 straight tournament games dating back to last year by at least 13 points. Their average margin of victory in this tournament, 23.3 points. 23.3 points was their average margin of victory. I guess you could call them the most dominant championship team in the history of college basketball. If you look at just point differential, could you not?
Hey, speaking of numbers, where do you think the viewership will come in compared to the women's number that was released yesterday? Wow.
Yeah, the women's number yesterday was the most watched basketball game, period, pro, college, men or women, since 2019. The preliminary number that came in was 18.7 million viewers. That audience is expected to increase when Nielsen officially releases its rankings today. The only sporting events in the United States to draw a bigger TV audience since 2019 have been football, of course, the NFL and college football, the World Cup, and the Olympics. Mm-hmm. So, most watched basketball game of any kind since 2019. In fact, I think it'll outdraw the men. I do. Because the men's game was on TBS, TNT, cable, which means it'll have a bit lower rating than network television. So this will be the first time in history, if it happens, that the women's game has outdrawn the men's game. Surprised or not?
I mean, the timing's probably part of it too, right? Last night was at 9:20 or whatever compared to the women on a Sunday afternoon.
I'm wondering, though, if the women's game could have gotten an even higher rating if it had been like at 6 o'clock on a Sunday instead of 3 in the afternoon.
Might have.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. I think I don't even think it'll be close. I think the women's game will outdraw the men's game by at least 1.5 million viewers. Mm-hmm. Just my prediction. We will find out. I guess the men's rating will come out today sometime, the preliminary rating, and then the official rating will come out tomorrow. Dan Hurley, by the way, UConn's basketball coach, asked about whether he's interested in the Kentucky job.
Why would I be interested in that job?
You know Kentucky's going to make a.
Sure.
You got to at least make the call, right?
Yeah,
if you're Kentucky,
sure. Why not?
To Dan Hurley. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. I'm still predicting Billy Donovan will be the next head coach of the Kentucky Wildcats.
All right.
Just a outlandish prediction.
Magic back at it tonight, dog.
That's right. 3-game road stretch begins tonight. Magic obviously coming off that victory over the Bulls on Sunday. They are at Houston tonight. Houston was hot for a while, but they've fallen out of the playoff hunt. So, yeah, 4 games remaining in the regular season. As we mentioned yesterday, the Magic need to keep winning. They can finish anywhere from 2nd in the East to 8th in the East. Their magic number to finish at least in the top 6 and avoid the play-in is 2. So, yeah, I think the Magic are going to finish 2nd, 3rd, or 4th in the Eastern Conference. The thing you don't want if you're the Magic, you sort of want to avoid the Philadelphia 76ers because Joel Embiid is back healthy now. And, because, I mean, with Embiid, that's a top 2 or top 3 team in the Eastern Conference. So you sort of want to avoid them in the first round of the playoffs, but you don't really know what's going to happen in the play-in. So, what else we got?
Lightning back on the ice tonight as their regular season comes down the stretch. They've got a Columbus, which they should handle. Columbus are cellar dwellers, but that's the scary part anyway.
Yeah. Couple of college athletic notes. The NCAA, it's been reported yesterday, is about to just say, okay, you can transfer anytime you want, anywhere you want. The new transfer rule is going to allow undergraduates to transfer and play immediately if they meet specific academic requirements, whatever that means. Essentially, you're going to be able to transfer anytime you want and transfer anywhere you want. So the wild, wild west is
even
wide
like
open.
Mid-season?
Well, you're still going to have the transfer window,
okay,
but
right.
And you can't transfer to different schools in the same season, but you won't have to sit out a year ever if you transfer. Also yesterday, the NAIA.
In other trans news.
Yeah. In NAIA, which essentially is the governing body for a lot of small schools, 80,000 student athletes nationwide, they have essentially said transgender athletes cannot compete in women's sports. So that was a big sort of a landmark decision.
The vote was 20 to nothing.
There you go.
Yeah, 20-0 by the president. Yeah, I don't even know why we're arguing this this issue anymore. I mean, it's pretty obvious. This isn't about bigotry. It's about biology. Come on now.
Bulldog, and you just took the words out of my mouth. Whenever you get into a disagreement with someone over this argument, and you look them straight in the face, and you go, I thought everything's supposed to follow the science.
Right.
You cannot
no argument.
You cannot get a response out of them.
No, and you know, South Carolina's women's basketball coach Dawn Staley said the other day that she thought transgender women should be allowed to compete in women's college basketball, to which I can't remember who it was, a former NBA, Chandler Parsons from right here in Orlando, former NBA player. He says, do you want Zach Edey to be playing women's basketball next year?
Exactly.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
So,
anyway. Mike the Bulldog Bianchi, host of Open Mic over on AM 740 and FM 96.9 The Game, takes time out of his show to join us here on the sports page, brought to you by Kaufman and Lind.
Listen to Under Oath with attorney Jeff Coppin every Saturday morning, 7:30, FM 96.9 The Game. Catch extended versions of Under Oath by searching your favorite streaming platform. Oh, oh!
Linton Top. Go on demand. Download the iHeartRadio app.
From the Bogan